Hello there, Year 2 agents and parent agents. I have a bit of a computing mission for you today, and it is going to be using Microsoft PowerPoint to try and create your own visual for the invention that you've come up with. So here I've got an invention that Amelie came up with yesterday. She's decided that she wanted to invent an improved bike, and there were loads of improvements in this. There's covers that go over the top if it wants to be a submarine, and there's rocket boosters on the back. There's wheels that can inflate if you want to ride on water. Loads of amazing ideas. And you might think, well, how on earth are we going to try and make something like this look realistic? But PowerPoint has got some brilliant image editing tools built in. Some of these we've used briefly before in the year when we were trying to put ourselves into pictures. I'm going to show you how you can use these today to create something a little bit special. So I'm going to go on to my next slide here. And you'll see that from the internet I've got these pictures just as a starting point. I've got a bike, just a plain ordinary bike. Over here I have a jet engine. I've got just a jet of fire with some black background, and then this guy wearing sort of jet wingsuit, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm going to try and combine these pictures to create a bit of an idea of what Amelie's bike might look like in reality. So first things first, I can drag some bits and bobs around, so I could try and put the engine on in the right angle and about the right size that I think, like that, and I maybe put this fire the other way, and again click and drag that into place. That's looking pretty cool, and maybe just a little wing hanging on the side here, if I think it's going to look right at the end, maybe going there. Does that look like a realistic picture? Not so much. Let me move a couple of these bits back. Okay, I'm going to show you the best tool that I think PowerPoint has for image editing. So up at the top of the page here, there, whenever you click onto a picture, the Format tab appears. When you're off the picture, it's disappeared. Every time you click onto a picture, the Format tab appears. And you might remember me saying that format in computer language just means change. So I'm going to click onto the Format tab because I want to change something about my picture. And then I'm going to press all the way over here in the corner the Remove Background button. This is a fantastic button, and I'm going to show you when it finds things really easy and some things it finds harder, because it uses AI to try and figure out what background you want to remove. So on this picture that has a plain background, it has already found, which is really impressive, that the main image is here in the middle and the background is turned pink. Everything that goes that pinky purple colour, when we press on the tick up here to keep changes, will disappear. It's going to be hard to see in this one because the background of my page is white, but you'll see what I mean when I move it into place. I'm going to press keep changes there. Great, doesn't look like anything's changed, but look, as I move it in front of my bike now, all of a sudden I have it looking pretty good, a bit more realistic. Now I can decide where I want to place my jet engine and what sort of size I want it to be, ready to become a bit of a rocket booster. I think I'm going to put it there, just on the crossbeam there. You don't want it too close to the rider's legs when this fire shoots out. I'm going to show you the same effect again, the remove background, here on the fire. So you might remember I have to click on Format. It's actually already come up for me this time because I was just using it. And over in the corner, Remove Background. And again, we've got a nice clear background here. So the computer's going to try and figure it out. I just have to drag this box around a bit if it's cut some places out. And I press Keep Changes. Now this one's a bit more obvious to see. So straight away we can see that the black background from the fire is completely gone. Now I can try and make it look like it's coming out of my jet engine, which is looking okay, but actually I want it to have this big burst of fire here, and that doesn't look too realistic where my jet engine is. So instead I'm going to send this picture backwards. PowerPoint's built up in layers, and it's a little bit like sticking paper on top of another piece of paper. Apart from on a computer, you can move them up and down whenever you want. So at the moment, this layer is in front, this picture is in front of my jet engine. Up here, still in my Format tab, because it's still a change I want to make to the picture, there is a button that says Send Backwards. And if I press that, now it's disappeared behind my jet engine. It looks like the flames are coming out of the jet engine. If I pressed it again, it would disappear behind my bike, which doesn't look quite as good. So I'm going to put it here in my middle layer. So far, so good. I now have Amelie's bike looking pretty realistic, a jet engine on the side, plus some flames coming out. If I want to, I might just adjust that again. If I need to rotate, I can click and turn the little arrow at the top here. So I'm really happy with the spiral of, there we go, that's a bit better. That looks a bit like it might be blasting better. Now, I'm going to show you what I could do for these wings. The wings are going to be harder because they're not actually in the right perspective for my bike. My bike is side on, as is the jet engine that I found on the internet, and the flame. These are at a bit of an angle, so that is going to be a bit tricky and it might look a bit wrong. But I'm going to show you how we can remove a background on a picture that's a bit more complicated. So I'm going to press up here again on remove background. And this time it's going to try and guess where the edges are in my picture. I just want the wing this time. I'm going to move my box around till my wing's in it. Okay, that's looking a bit better. Still not perfect. Oh, look, I've lost a bit of the wing up at the top here. And I've still got the chap's arm and a bit more of the back that I don't want here. So, up in the top corner, there's these two buttons, mark areas to keep and mark areas to remove. So first of all, I'm going to try and get rid of this bit of his arm. So I click on there and a little pencil comes up. Drag that across. And now it's got rid of his arm. I don't think I want this bit of black here either, so I'm going to drag my mark areas to remove pencil across there. Now I'm left with my engine, but again I've lost a little bit here that I wanted, so I'm going to click on my mark areas to keep, drag my pencil across there. Oh, lost a little bit more up here. Let me try that again. This is the computer trying to guess what it is that I'm trying to remove. Now when I press keep changes, I've got just the wing. As I said, it's a bit of a tricky one because the perspective isn't quite right for this one. For my bike, it doesn't look like the wing's in the right position. There are some things that I can do there. Under picture effects, still on the format tab because I'm still changing this picture. There's a few things I can do. I can try and soften the edges if it's gone a little bit funny. So pull some of the edges away, soften them. I can look at the 3D rotation. This sometimes works well and sometimes it's a bit hit and miss. But it tries to turn, let me see if I can move the picture out so you can see what it's doing. It tries to turn my picture a bit, rotate it around an angle, which sometimes works really well, other times not so much. Let's see which one's going to look right for I think that one's not bad. And again, I can drag that to the place I want it to go, rotate it if I need to, super duper, if I might put that just by the front wheel. So now I have a wing and a jet engine shooting fire from my bike. So this is suddenly looking like a realistic image. I'm going to show you one final thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to click and drag a big box around all of my pictures. And up here on my format tab, I'm going to press group. And that now puts my pictures all into one. So I can move it around at once. Now on my next page, I can copy and paste this in. I've already found a nice background on the internet to introduce my bike. So here, I've put it just in the background of my picture. Again, I think it's looking pretty good. I could go on to my picture tools again. I could try and add some shadow maybe so it looks like it's standing out properly there. Let's have a look. And go this shadow. I could, if I wanted to, if it was near some water or something, add a reflection of my bike. Look at that. That's looking really good. That looks really professional to me. I could have chosen a different background, like the bike in the park, if that's the kind of elements of it I wanted to show off. You'll see at the side, I've already typed this in earlier, but I've put introducing the Boost bike from Amelie Industries. Great for commuters, super fast and super fun. So some of the key things about my bike. And this is a fantastic thing to do. It helps you to get a sense of why you've made this invention, who you think it's good for, what sort of problems it is solving, as we spoke about yesterday. And as well as that, I just think it suddenly makes your product look really realistic. I know that you really enjoyed using the remove background tool earlier in the year, so find some images on Google, copy and paste them into PowerPoint, and have an experiment with the remove background buttons and the bring forward and send backward layer buttons. I hope you're able to do that, and I hope you have a fantastic time experimenting. Over and out, agents.